16 Boshpara Lane was the first residence of Sister Nivedita. This Grade 1 heritage building was in a derelict and dilapidated condition when it was handed over to Ramakrishna Sharada Mission in 2013 by the government of West Bengal. In the timeline of the museum, you can see the restored house being inaugurated by Srimati Mamata Bandyopadhyay, our Honorable Chief Minister, in 2017. After restoration, Ramakrishna Sharada Mission developed an interactive experiential museum blending tradition and modernity, which is a synthesis of the East and the West. Ministry of Culture, Government of India, and TCS Foundation came forward with financial support for this project, and we also had public donations. The museum was inaugurated on 15th March 2020, but after the pandemic, it became fully operational from September 2021. At present, the museum remains open from 1 to 5:30 p.m. on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. We request all to visit the museum. Here, you can see a few photos of the museum. 17 Boshpara Lane is a heritage site, and 1/3 portion of it was acquired by Ramakrishna Sharada Mission. In a letter dated 20th January 1903, Sister wrote, "I would like much to make number 17 a real university." Keeping this dream of Sister, we also acquired number 19, an adjacent house, with the generous donation of TCS Foundation and Ananda Bazar Patrika. Following in Sister's footsteps, 5 major areas of implementation have been identified by Ramakrishna Sharada Mission. Which are education, service and care, leadership, empowerment, and national awakening. The activities in number 19 started with a 3-day COVID vaccination camp, of which the total number of beneficiaries were 1,056. The second one was relief work for the Yas cyclone victims in the Sundarbans. Apart from these, some financial help was given to mothers of migrant workers' families. Now, I would like to mention the activities undertaken by NIHAR under the area of education. We have conducted the Train the Trainers program with the help of Labhya Foundation of New Delhi. It was a training of value-oriented social emotional learning and was supported by Sri Samit Ghosh, founder director of Ujjivan. Under the area of service and care, NIHAR took up a pilot project of conducting a 4-month course for geriatric facilitators supported by M Junction. 11 out of 15 students have been successfully placed up till now. The trained students are providing services to the elderly women to enable them to live in place and experience productive aging through a mutually enriching partnership. These projects of NIHAR have gained tremendous popularity among people. Since the year 2020 to 2023 has been embarked on by Ramakrishna Sharada Mission to celebrate the 125th year of Sister's arrival in Kolkata, this would be the most opportune moment to take initiative steps in developing NIHAR into a full-fledged academic institution with the potential for a world-class women's university. In undertaking this initiative, the primary step is to build a 6-storied building which would serve as the main block of the proposed university. We are happy to announce that Rail Vikas Nigam Limited has already come forward to support this project Coal India Limited, Punjab National Bank, Indian Oil, West Bengal Infrastructure Development Corporation have also expressed interest to extend their help and support towards the fruition of this project. Since it's a big project, we sincerely hope and pray that others will also come forward with the cooperation and sincere effort of all. The project will be completed successfully, thereby fulfilling the dream of Sister Nivedita, who gave her all to India. I would like to thank all of them and Nirupamaji. We are really grateful to you all. I want to conclude by chanting Sister's favorite mantra, Asatu ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityur ma amritam gamaya.
Are very glad to announce that today, that is on 20th November, Sister Nivedita's birthday is also being celebrated at UK's Great Torrington by the local Devonshire Council. Sister Nivedita's statue was installed at Great Torrington Cemetery in 2019. The site was first visited by revered Mataji, Prabrajika Ganoda Prana, and flowers was offered at Sister's statue. This statue and the cemetery are now like a pilgrimage site for not only the Indians, but also for Sister's English and Irish admirers. Sorry, it is 28th October. I beg my pardon. On behalf of Ramakrishna Sharoda Mission, Sister Nivedita Heritage Museum and Knowledge Center, I cordially invite Srimati Nirupama Kotru, Joint Secretary and Financial Advisor, Ministry of Coal, Government of India, to come up on the stage and grace the chair of Honorable Chief Guest of this occasion. I would request Honorable Mataji, Prabrajika Ganoda Prana, to felicitate our Honorable Chief Guest, Srimati Nirupama Kotru. Revered Prabrajika Nikhil Prana Mataji will now felicitate our honorable guests and speakers. Prabrajika Bhashwar Prana Mataji, former Principal Ramakrishna Sharoda Mission, Vivekananda Vidya Bhavan. We now felicitate Dr. Debanjan Sengupta, and Srimati Nilanjana Dasgupta. And Srimati Nilanjana Dasgupta. I would now, and we are felicitating, it's an honor to felicitate revered Prabrajika Ganoda Prana Mataji, Assistant General Secretary, Sri Sharoda Mott and Ramakrishna Sharoda Mission. Now, I shall request Srimati Nirupama Kotru, our honorable chief guest, to deliver a speech on this auspicious occasion.
Namaskar. My greetings to all of you on this joyous occasion of the 155th birth celebration of Sister Nivedita in continuation of the 125th year of her arrival in India, the country for which she gave her all. So to me personally, Sister Nivedita is a lady who was on a spiritual quest which brought her here, and of course she had many, many accomplishments to her name, being a literary figure, an author of repute, etc. But what she accomplished here was truly unique. So I just request you to bear with me because I just want to recollect some milestones of her journey which brought her to India and her work here. So, of course, all of you are more familiar with Sister, but for me, it's always a joy to learn more and more about her life. It really gives me great satisfaction to know the kind of person she was and what she did and how she herself achieved self-actualization, as we call, which goes really beyond just living your life. It's something much more deeper and higher. It's a higher quest which many of us can only aspire for, but many of us fail to achieve. So, as you all know, she was born in this picturesque town of Dungannon. Some of you saw the pictures also in North Ireland, to devout Scot-Irish parents. Her father himself was a pastor, as you all know. So her early journey with spirituality and religion began early because she was born into Christianity. But then she started herself exploring Buddhism, as we all know. And then she was drawn, of course, to Vedanta when she came in touch with Swamiji. So before she even became involved in India's national movement and the Vedanta, she was already so active and had started working for the poor and the marginalized. If some of you might have heard of her work, when she had just finished her college, she started publishing her writing under various assumed names. Again, something very inspiring at a young age when she started writing, even about Christ and about, society in general. She was thinking from a very early age about these issues. Many of us get so involved in our day-to-day struggle, we never take time to think. But she thought about society in all its facets, not just Indian society later, but when she was living in Ireland and in England, she thought deeply about society, about women, about the marginalized, about the poor, about the divide, the economic divide. And as you all know, she was very active even when she was in England, when they lived there, as a literary figure. She was so accomplished, she was always welcomed in all the clubs in London. For instance, one of the great clubs she co-founded, Sesame Club. I was just interested because I follow a lot of literary figures. So imagine, her contemporaries like George Bernard Shaw, W.B. Yeats. I mean, that was the kind of company she kept, the brightest luminaries of the literary world. And they were also impressed by her, which really shows you how remarkably accomplished a writer she was, that her talks were so popular, even at a very young age. Of course, the turning point in her life, as we all know, when she met Swamiji at an informal gathering in London in 1895, and before he even left for India, she had already acknowledged him as the master. And next 2 years, of course, she kept doing work in London for the Vedanta Center, but she was already so restless and wanted to come to India to continue her spiritual journey, as you all know. And January 28th, 1898, when she came to Calcutta, it must have been such a big moment for her to be received with great warmth and affection, of course, by Swamiji himself at Calcutta docks. And later, when she went to Dakshineshwar and when she met Sharda Ma. In fact, I was reading this momentous occasion when she visited Sharda Ma on March 17, 1898. And Ma broke the centuries of taboo being a lady of upper caste by breaking bread with foreigners. So these are really remarkable instances, and we can see how they deeply moved Sister Nivedita herself. Of course, she was not yet Christian. Sister Nivedita, I think in March 25th, 1898, Swamiji initiated her into Brahmacharya and gave her the name of Nivedita, the dedicated of Ramakrishna Vivekananda, a name that she continued using till the very end, even after, as we all know, when she was kind of under the scrutiny of the British government for her nationalist and patriotic activities, she had to dissociate herself from the mutt to protect them. Yet she used this name till the very end. She used to sign as Nivedita of Ramakrishna Vivekananda. What a remarkable thing. How dedicated she was to the cause of spreading the message of her masters, message of Vedanta, of spirituality, of Hinduism. So many of us, even being born into Hinduism, never think about these aspects. How deeply she must have thought and how deeply it must have influenced her in a positive way, not at all in a negative way. I was just thinking to myself, all these people were so widely read, widely traveled. Their worldview was so magnificent and so all encompassing. It's really, really something we should all emulate and think. For them, barriers of caste, community, religion, nothing mattered. What mattered is you should all be good human beings, you should all serve each other selflessly. And that was the message she took from her masters and what she continued till the very end. And another personal thing for me, which I like reading about, is her journeys with Swami Vivekananda and the other two ladies. He used to jokingly call them the Trinity, if you remember. Sarah Chapman Bull, who he used to call Dhira Mata, and Josephine McLeod. The three of them went to the Himalayas and to Kashmir, which happens to be the place my ancestors belonged to. And their remarkable journey in Kashmir, imagine they went in such difficult times, 1898, there were no facilities. They went to Amarnath, and then they went to Kheer Bhavani, where Swamiji had this divine vision of Kali Ma. And in fact, he thought, that this place, Kheer Bhavani, is a place revered by Kashmiri Pandits. It's a very simple shrine with a spring, natural spring, which changes color. So when the color is nice, like a pinkish or a blue, it is said that there are good days. And when it turns dark, and it has, there's calamity. So he had a vision there, and he felt, that I'm feeling ashamed as a bhakt of Kali Ma that this place is in ruins. She appeared to him in dreams and said, but my son, if I want, I can create a magnificent palace. I don't want it. And after that, he came back and wrote the poem, The Mother. And inspired by him, later, Sister Nivedita wrote her book on Kali the Mother. So all of them must have had such a wonderful experience in this spiritual journey. I think after she came back, she started this work with great passion, that exploring the Shakti, the Shiva, different aspects of Hinduism in such depth. It's something I can only admire and even envy, because the way all of us are involved in our day-to-day life, we can never get the time to even think about these aspects of spirituality, not just religion. We just get carried away by rituals, which none of these great people did. They went very deep into philosophy. Also, another aspect, of course, she was an educationist, a great educationist, as all of us know, because she started this school. She went all over with Swamiji to raise funds for the school, to Europe, USA, everywhere. Other than that, her interest in art and culture is something that really fascinates me, because the way she nurtured art movement, imagine being so close, influence on Abanindranath Tagore, that his Bharat Mata is said to be heavily influenced by her. In fact, if you've seen that image, it is displayed in Victoria Memorial Hall, which I was also associated with. She is an ascetic, a saint, Bharat Mata. She holds a sheaf of grain, she holds a book, lotus, and she is shown as a very saintly, motherly figure. And he was heavily influenced by her, because she taught these great artists like Nandlal Bose. In fact, after she visited Ellora Caves, I think she arranged his visit as well. That time there was a heavy European influence, as you all know, in Indian art. She asked them to break away from that and seek Indian traditions. What a great thing to do. So she understood that all these aspects help in nation making. Nation making is such a huge process. It's a very long process. And the way she got involved in the national movement, again, very remarkable. that so many people came in contact with her. Scientists like J.C. Bose, when he was recovering from his surgery in England, she nurtured him. And till this very end days, he used to consider himself as her little brother. Rabindranath Tagore used to call her Lok Mata. You had Subramaniam Swami, the Tamil poet, he also considered her his Guru Mani. And he dedicated many poems to her. So everyone she came in contact with, she influenced so deeply. Imagine she had designed the first flag, which the Indian National Congress displayed also in their 1906 meeting, the Vajra, the Indra's thunderbolt, which all of us know is her symbol. And she started getting involved, of course, in these nationalist movements, met Aurobindo Ghosh also. So her influence is really so wide and deep that the more you read, the more aspects come out of how powerful her ideas were, how she went far beyond just exploring Hinduism or exploring Vedanta or taking its message to the masses. She also helped in creating India as we know it. And that's no mean task. That's a very, very big task at that time. And we are talking about 19th century and early 20th century, such tumultuous periods. So, as I said, all these aspects just keep fascinating me, and I can talk about them for hours, but I don't want to do that. All of you are much more aware of the work she has done. I only feel blessed and happy that I could be one small speck in this, discovery of Sister Nivedita by supporting and creating this heritage museum and research center in 16 Bospara Lane. And I really hope that more and more people visit it, especially young girls, because I want them to get inspired by the life of Sister Nivedita. If you can be a free-spirited, and I say this to all the students here, I see all these very bright young girls. If you can be inspired by her life, be free-spirited, independent, bold in your thinking, progressive, and drive those ideas, and never feel, that you are not equal. You're not just equal, you're better than anybody else. That she showed. She was no less than anyone, not even her masters. She created her own path, and she just kept forging ahead, fearlessly. So I just want to end by the benediction of Swami Vivekananda, what he has said for her, because truer words are difficult to find, and he was such a master of expression, so one cannot put it better. And he had said, "The mother's heart, the hero's will, the sweetness of the southern breeze, the sacred charm and strength that dwell on Aryan altars, flaming, free. All these be yours and many more, no ancient soul could dream before. Be thou to India's future son, the mistress, servant, friend in one." So what greater personality do we have? I mean, she is one of the few remarkable women personalities whom we must recognize and give due importance as we are celebrating 75 years of independence. I think we can't think of a more dedicated person. Her name itself means dedicated, and she always signed as Nivedita of Ramakrishna Vivekananda. So I'm really deeply honored, touched, and really feel blessed to be here on this joyous occasion. My greetings to all of you again. Jai Ma, Jai Hind, and Namaskar.